I've always cared too much about what other
I
people
wanted to
think.
catch this. Yeah, you're at a
Yeah,
point
yeah,
in
no
your
problem.
life.
I while I still care what other people think, I finally reached a point in my life where I'm kind of like, this is who I am. This is what I can bring to the table.
Mhm.
I'll give you all I have. And you're either gonna like that or we can talk about how to improve that. And I was very casual in applying for the job. Not casual enough that like, I mean, I wanted it badly, but I think by just like being honest and candid and putting myself out there, um, I was like, this is who I am. This is what you're gonna get. And I think that I think the man I report to respects that and we have a good relationship. But I'm still figuring things out. But yes, I am, to my surprise, I am really liking it. I'm saying to my surprise because I thought like, okay, let me see how this goes.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I can always go back, where I was, but I am liking it.
That's
Yes.
cool. So this is unrelated, but also related. I'm doing this like feminine mentorship with a woman. You might remember her from the course, Dr. Jordan.
Oh yeah.
So I'm working with her in a group coaching program, and I just watched this lesson on how superwomen are great at lying, and not like lying in terms of like, lying to our partners, but like, hiding the truths and who they are, kind of being chameleons. And she was saying, like, when we learn how to tell the truth and speak our truth, that's when we really can open up to receiving, because that's the feminine. And it just like, that's kind of sounds like I'm seeing it in action. That's cool,
Yeah, that's
Kathleen.
so cool to hear that because that's exactly I think where I've landed.
Yeah. At a young age of 44. I mean,
Why? Isn't it so unfair? Isn't it so unfair? Like
it's so
that we spend our lives like in our 20s is when we're like, don't, whatever. Yeah, like
yeah.
enjoy the time because when you start to worry about all these other things, you finally start to have the mindset of maturity, I guess.
Yeah, you
And
couldn't pay me to go back. You literally could not pay me unless I could go back as I am
right.
with all
And
I
with
know.
everything you've learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I know
And
you're at work, so I'll dive in with just a couple questions. You're great at this. So, Kathleen, what brought you to elemental coaching?
so I think that I'm a little bit unconventional in that I came here through a path that you're not a fan of. I guess I shouldn't say that because I know that there's a lot of our past that all of us have learned that like that's not the right way to do things.
Yeah.
But through Cynthia Thurlow,
Oh, I love
and
Cynthia.
I
Yeah.
know you love her, but she's also the intermittent fasting guru.
Yes.
But I follow Cynthia not for the intermittent fasting, but for the other things I've learned from her.
Yeah.
I'm a person who intermittent fasting doesn't work for because I have binging tendencies. That's part of why I've been a yo-yoer throughout my life.
Mhm.
And she had you on. I'm not sure if you're still doing things with her or not, but as she wanted you to be like her chief accountability officer.
Yeah.
And when you came on to speak to her VIP group that I was a part of at the time, I was like, this woman, I need to hear more from her.
Thank
And
you.
so I started to follow you. And it wasn't long before I joined Lift to Get Lean at that time. I just went all in. I was like, this is what I've been looking for. It was you. I mean, you because I hate the cliches, but because you walk the walk, the way you describe it, the way you relate, it helps that we're similar age.
Mhm.
And I was just like, this is for me. I took the course twice.
Mhm.
Um, and no doubt that I was like, please let me be in the VIP. This is what I need to do. I was like, I found my people.
I love it. That honestly, it makes me so happy because you are the kind of person that I want to work with. Because you don't want to work with everyone, right? I don't think I don't think we want to be talking to thousands, hundreds. I talk about this with a guy that helps me with marketing, and we have this back and forth all the time about scaling. Is scaling possible? Is scaling sustainable? And the answer is no.
Right.
But connection is sustainable. Like sustainable, I don't know, it's this whole almost like existential crisis. But it's kind of like stopping, saying when's enough. If it's enough,
Yeah.
it's sustainable. So no more scaling. That's my thing. Okay, cool. So how is your life different since working with us, with me?
I think perspective.
Mm.
I think it's funny because I was like, I need to think about it. She hasn't sent me questions, so bear with me as I think on my feet. Um, I think it's mostly perspective and the mindset piece
Mhm.
that the back to, you know, why did I join to begin with? Because it was you and it was wanting weightlifting
Yeah.
because of, you know, I've been studying, I've been conscious of my weight since fourth grade, and I've since it's not just about like, oh, I feel fat. It just, you know, is terms of like exercise and health and learning about it. And so it started with the weightlifting. But I'd say so that's a huge difference that my focus has gone from the shorter, intense cardio workouts
Mhm.
to understanding more of the science behind what makes us healthy as we're in this stage of our lives as women in particular. And
Mhm.
so the weightlifting and then the mindset work, I did not expect to get as much, I'm going to say it, therapy
Yeah.
as I have from being part of the VIP community. And
Mhm.
so even though I may not be like super active in like the chats and things like that, I follow, I read, you know, I listen to your podcasts, and it's so I'd say the work that I'm doing internally.
Ah, that's great. That's
Yeah.
what I hope for. Like, thank you so much. This is great. Well, so speaking of that, like, are you noticing this bleed out into other areas of your life, like this ripple effect?
I think I am. And we chatted about this, you know, maybe before you hit record, that I do. I think that it in part has given me the confidence, like in my work life as well.
Mhm.
I think in terms of again, like this is who I am at this stage in my life. I prioritize myself more. Again, I know that has to do with like if you have children, like the age of them, and mine are, you know, out of like the physical, you know, care needs. But also I would say as being a role model for my kids, because they see me prioritizing lifting at home. And they know that I need that time.
Mhm.
Like I've made that clear to them, and it's not, I don't feel bad about that. And
Yeah.
I encourage them to join me.
Yeah.
They don't really, they're too young, but you know, just being, I think that it's important for our kids, you know, to see that. I think so many of us like grew up with our, I think you've shared stories about your mom as well, but like our, you know, the diets and things that we would witness our parents doing, right? I never saw my parents like exercising or like focusing on the health part,
Yeah.
right? It was always about like the latest fad diet, eating fat-free this and, you know, things like that. So yeah, I'd say my personal life and professional life, I've have felt the spread.
Good. Well, yeah, it's so funny. I don't get on Facebook as much anymore, thank goodness, but I always scroll to see like memories and what I was talking about. And yesterday, one of the quotes that popped up, I was reading Glennon Doyle's Untamed book. I don't know if you've read it, but one of the most powerful quotes in it was, our kids don't need us to save them. Our kids need to see us save ourselves.
Hmm.
Thought that was so empowering, especially after I was recently reading something about how kids aren't moving out of the house. They aren't getting driver's licenses. They aren't,
Wow.
I know. It was like, oh my gosh. I mean, we're all doing the best we can, but I was like, okay, you're gonna keep seeing me take care of myself because
Yeah,
you need to take care of yourself also.
I
Awesome,
love that.
Kathleen. Well,
Yeah.